Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with a quick discounts video. All games mentioned in this video are linked down below in the description and pinned comment. Any purchase made massively helps support me and this channel in the best way possible. And as always, there are many great games that are discounted but are also constantly discounted, and I don't like mentioning the same games over and over again, so in these videos I try to go for games that may be overlooked, okay? Let's start with VGP with their free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks. Buccanyar is $22 US, which is a really low price for a very unique game. This game was only released physically in Japan on Nintendo Switch, and it does have English. However, it might be one of the worst translations in gaming history. And don't get me wrong, you can easily play the game and stuff, but it's borderline legendary in its randomness. However, the gameplay is pretty cool, like real-time ship battles and stuff with anime girls and cats, but it's like Waterworld, but with cats, and I think that is a good price in my opinion. Air Twister, $14 US, a really great price in my opinion for a rail shooter. If you want Space Harrier mixed with Star Fox with some Yu Suzuki sensibilities and some weirdly rocking soundtracks, I think the price is excellent. Stray is down to $25 on the Switch. You have to remember, this is a recent port to the system that cat lovers around the world absolutely adore. This is the cheapest I've seen it on the Switch so far, and if you want to explore a futuristic city as a cat trying to make your way home, then it is one to look into. Mary Skelter 2 is $33 US on Switch, and this caught me by surprise since I've assumed that this game was out of print or out of reach. It's one I've wanted to add to my collection since it is a JRPG double pack. Yes, I love the fact that this also includes Mary Skelter 1 as a bonus, and it doesn't even mention it on the cover. So you're getting decent bang for your buck, and I really like that. $33, you can't sniff at it. The Idea Factory bundle is $160 US. Now that does not sound like a bargain, but for 4 games, one of them quite rare, you are getting them at $40 a pop, and that is a discount compared to the $100 for one of them, and then around $50 or $55 for the others. So prior to this reprint and this bundle, if you tried to buy them brand new individually, you'd be looking at like $260 in total instead. So it is kind of a deal for dungeon crawling RPGs. Alright, let's move on to PNP, who have free shipping to the US and Canada on orders over 65 Canadian bucks, which is 47 American dollars. No Man's Sky is discounted to $25 US on Nintendo Switch, which is a good opportunity to sample the massive upgrade the game has received on Nintendo Switch 2, and the upgrade is free, so it's $25 all in for a great rendition of a much-loved game portably. Of course, it won't be the best available, and if you want something a bit more powerful, the PlayStation 5 version is also discounted even cheaper, $18 US. Pikmin 3. I mean, I wouldn't call 39 American dollars a massive bargain, but this is a Nintendo game, and their games rarely get discounted, and I think you'll find it difficult to find a price like this for a brand new copy of Pikmin 3. This was originally a Wii U game, but was ported to the Switch successfully too, I have heard. I haven't actually played it myself, but you know, at this price, why not? Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, the price keeps on tumbling, and PNP have it on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 for $14 US. That does worry me a little bit, like did the game do worse than expected, or is it the publisher just not caring and sharing the love rather than profit? Who knows, but as a modern game in the style of Jet Grind Radio, you should probably give it a go, especially for this price. Collar Cross or X Malice is $21 US. This game was recently brought up in the video I made where I invited my Patreon producers to choose their favorite Switch physicals, and this was a choice by one of them. I can't remember off the top of my head, I apologize. This is an Otome VN, but the romance is on the sidelines. It's definitely more focused on the crime drama, and for $21 US, you can give it a try for yourself. Like, if you are scared of that Otome label, like I am, I'm a little bit scared of it, this is the one that you should try, just to give yourself a little gentle introduction and see how you feel. Saints Row the Third. $18 on Nintendo Switch. I think that's a pretty good price. I know the game is ancient at this point, even on the Switch, but for 18 bucks, you can't put a price on chaotic carnage-filled fun. And I do wonder how this is on Switch too. Will it be like auto-boosted to perform even better? I don't know. It was fine from what I remember when I played it all those many years ago, but what I do remember is that it is a really fun game, much better than the recent entries. Alright, let's move on to Red Art Games. If you check the links down below for these, you will see that they have a site-wide sale going on for 30% off all in-stock Nintendo Switch games. That is including some recently sent out releases. Sadly, my normal discount code, Jordan10, isn't working because they've got this sale going on, but yeah, 30% off, you can't laugh at it. Here are a few of my picks. Lost Ruins, they just started sending this one out and it's already down to 28 euros. This is an action platformer with some very appealing pixel artwork, shall we say. It packs a little bit of a challenge too, and I hope I can give it a go one day. Jets and Guns Complete Collection also has just been sent out not that long ago, and it is a double pack of 2 Euro shooters that I actually find quite appealing. There's something about those chunky visuals I like a lot, and the second game in particular looks like a nicely polished experience. This is also $28. No, it's 28 euros, which is basically $28. Super Zangyura is 25 euros almost, and it's almost worth it alone thanks to the cover art that reminds me heavily of Alundra, and anything that reminds me of Alundra, I need to give my money to. This is a simple action platformer, less visually appealing than Lost Ruins, but inspired by classic Castlevania games, and I'm well on board. It looks good to me. SOPHSTAR is down to 21 euros. I think it's been this price before, but you know, I think it's whatever. It's a great price and one of my favorite recent indie shmups. Going for an NES style shooter, it does it incredibly well with lots of variety. A very accomplished shmup. If you're a fan of the genre and don't have this yet, well, now is the time to grab it. Goblin Slayer is down to 35 euros, which isn't bad for a pretty lengthy tactical RPG. It's not the best in class, but fans of the franchise will enjoy it. Has lots of story segments set in the world, and you know, tactical RPG battles that will give you a good challenge. It's not a cakewalk. It's also not going to be like Final Fantasy Tactics, but nothing quite is. But it might get you in the mood for the remaster coming later this year. Alright, let's move on to Serenity Forge. Now, their shipping, I'm not entirely sure of, but I think it's not exactly favorable, especially worldwide. So it's best to make the most of the shipping with having more games in one package. Like, do not go to their website and buy just one game, because you will be wasting the high shipping, okay? That's just some advice from me. Xuan Sword Mist Beyond the Mountains is $20. I will always recommend this one. It's a TRPG, I think, Taiwanese RPG, back from the late 90s, now finally in English officially. And yeah, many people say the English is a bit too dodgy, but I don't know. It didn't bother me that much. I understood everything that was going on, and I really do enjoy this game. I love the theming, I love the adventure, I love the visuals, the music, everything about it really appeals to me. Of course, it's quite archaic, but I enjoyed it. 20 bucks on the Switch, fantastic price. Genesis Noir, the Collector's Edition, is $25. The standard edition is cheaper, but you might as well go that extra 10 bucks for the massive collector's edition. Why not? It's incredibly cheap. I'm guessing it didn't sell well because it's quite an artsy-fartsy kind of game, but still good, okay? The space for the Unbound is $22 $50 on Switch and PS5, which is a super solid price for a really nice indie adventure game. It reminds me of like maybe a side-scrolling Shenmue, if it was indie and set in Indonesia, with a heartwarming and equally heart-wrenching story as well. It's beautiful, and it is a good price to experience it. I do recommend it. Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator PAX East 2023 exclusive variant. I've run out of breath. Yeah, it's an exclusive variant that is different to the retail release of this game, and it's only 15 bucks, so you're getting kind of like a rarer version for a really cheap price. Now, the game is properly weird. It won't be for everyone. In fact, I don't really understand what the game is myself, but if you waft a game in front of me for 15 bucks, it's hard for me to say no. Smile for Me is 15 bucks on Switch, PS4, and PS5, and it's the same kind of thing, a bit weird, but at least this time I kind of do know what's going on. It was previously a VR game from what I remember, but it came to normal consoles pretty well. It's a good price for something creative and weird. Very briefly, there are a couple of PlayAsia bargains I've seen, and maybe you can get an extra 5% off with my code. I don't know if it's going to work with these two, but you can try. You can get 5% off PlayAsia with my code Jordan2025. Bakumatsu Renka Shinsengumi. This has been discounted before, but $13 is the cheapest I've ever seen. Now, $13 for an import exclusive with English. It's an old school otome visual novel, so probably rough around the edges, even for those who love the genre, maybe lacking some quality of life things and attention to detail that some may expect these days. But, sometimes it's good to have it raw. Wait, what? Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid something horrible breath. It's $22 on Nintendo Switch. Now, this did get a North American physical release. However, this Japanese version, with English, is a lot cheaper, $22. I am currently writing a Shmups on Switch video with all the physical releases, and for me, this does kind of stand out because it has decent replay value. Yeah, the production is cheap, but the gameplay is solid, and there is incentive to play over and over again, not just to get a high score, which I actually do like in my Shmups. I like that incentive to play again. Grandia HD Collection is $35 on Nintendo Switch. No, that is the real price if you purchase the Korean version. And don't worry, it does play in English. Now, that is much cheaper than if you wanted limited runs version and also the Southeast Asian version, which is more expensive than this. Sure, the cover art may be less appealing, but who cares when you get two classic JRPGs in English for $17 a pop? It's insane. If you don't own this collection, now is the time to do so. And there we have some physical discounts. What has taken your fancy? If you want to purchase any of them, then please do so via the links in the description and pinned comment. It is the best way to support me and this channel in the best way possible. And of course, if you're new here and you like physical video games, you like cheap physical video games, then hit that subscribe button because it'll be the best thing you do today. And I will tell you all the discounts when they appear. Have a fantastic day. Take care.